Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to the extra time segment for Everton 3, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Everton win convincingly in the FA Cup 4th round against lower league opposition to progress to a game against potentially Wickham or Spurs at this moment in time. I'm not too sure. I'm joined by Owen. Owen, how are you, mate? How do you feel about that result yesterday?
I was really pleased with it. It was a game that I wasn't worried about because I've kind of sort of know how bad Sheffield Wednesday have been this season through watching a bit of them. Championship have been on in the midweek, so I've been watching a bit of them. And yeah, they're not a very good team. But it was also a game I felt we could easily spoil this up very easily, and we didn't. They didn't cause us any issues all night. We were always in control of the game, kept the ball really well, good off set pieces again, got the early goal to get our noses in front. And it was just sort of a routine FA Cup win against the lower league opposition. That's sort of the
We're not used
blueprint
to
of
this.
No, we're not, and it was the blueprint of how you deal with teams like Sheffield Wednesday. Obviously, we played teams in the past like Millwall, but Millwall are a lot better team than what Sheffield Wednesday were last night, and even Rotherham, which we got through that. But yeah, there's ways of dealing with tough teams, and they weren't tough to be fair. But it was a game where we had to we got through it. We won our battles against them. They tried to make it difficult, but they couldn't really. And yeah, we're through. It was routine, and it sets us up nicely for the game against Leicester, which is an important game. But you wouldn't have liked to have gone in that game with sort of a disappointment in the performance, or even, heaven forbid, leaving the FA Cup. So we're through, and it's good to know that we've got 2 home games now against Leicester and Newcastle, and it sets them both up quite nicely with that.
Yeah, I think we needed to get a bit, like, obviously we had the Rotherham game and the Wolves game. It's since the West Ham game we've now won 3 games, and it's you need that momentum, I think, don't you?
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes this season it's so key momentum. I think we've seen it with Chelsea. Obviously, they went quite a lot unbeaten before they came to Goodison. And I'm not claiming we were the the start of the end for Chelsea this season, but they'd gone a lot unbeaten and they got beat to us, and they haven't really got it back. And then you changed manager now, so without the fans there, sort of like adding like an extra element to the sort of team performance to get them over the line. It can be sometimes difficult without that. So without that form, so getting form and winning any game you can, if you get what I mean, is so important because it sets you up for the next one. So Sheffield Wednesday, you beat them 3-0, but it sets you up nicely for the Leicester game. And some of the things you're trying in the Sheffield Wednesday game, you might try in the Leicester game, and it might work still, and you might find a pattern of form. Momentum's so important, really. So getting a run of results together at this stage of the season is important because we're at the precipice now with the league as it is, where we could just don't ebb away and finish 7th, be happy with our season's work in a way, but knowing that we've left a bit to be desired in terms of other performances, and it's cost us with the top 4. But if we go on a really good run now and get a way of playing together and get results get results down, there's no reason why we couldn't finish in the top 4 with the league the way it is. So we've got Leicester, Newcastle, and Leeds after that. There's opportunities for points there, so it sets us up nicely for that. And obviously, being the FA Cup last night, it gets us through to the next round now. For many more reasons than one, I would love it to be Wickham Wanderers, not only because they're an easier team than Tottenham, but I'd love to see them play football on Goodison. It would be amazing. But so we can hope it's them. The most likely situation, it's Tottenham, difficult game, but we beat them before. So it's all about confidence, and I think we'll go into games now mainly due to the tactical acumen of the manager and sort of getting players back to fitness. It sets us up nicely for what is going to be an interesting second half of the season.
Certainly will, and I think what we can't understate is that, I mean, obviously we have a lot of games coming up in quick succession. I think it was imperative that we dealt with this professionally so we could get a couple of goals up and get some players rested, which we actually were able to do. And, it was actually the opposite against Rotherham going into the Wolves game, where we had to call upon our key players, and because the second string underperformed, and I think Carlo didn't want to take that chance this time. He wants to make sure we got it done, got everyone rested, and we can look ahead now to the next game. I think obviously Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison on the score sheet as well, a bit of a confidence boost for Richarlison as well, which is I don't think we can understate the importance of that.
Yeah, I think we've all sort of come to terms with the ins and outs and the difficulties this season Richarlison's gone through. Probably no more evident than in this game. He gets a goal, could possibly have got another one, but it looked at times that he wasn't quite getting into the game, and whatever reason that is, I think getting that goal, who knows, even though it's an header I think it was the second or the third against a pretty bleak Sheffield Wednesday team, but even despite all that, it can set them up for Leicester, Newcastle, and Leeds, and I haven't thought that far ahead. We play after that, but
to be honest, I think it's a case of I think if we're going to achieve top four, we need to see him starting to contribute more with goals and assists in the second half of the season, and I'd like to think he will, but hopefully this could be the springboard for that.
Yeah, because we've been defensively incredibly stoic this since about November. We started the season off with sort of free-flowing football and putting teams to the sword, and it was fun, and where it was
then
top
November
of the league.
Happens.
Then we had a bit of a blip when we played, I don't know, Southampton. That was a disappointing one. Newcastle,
unbelievably disappointing.
We didn't get anything from that. Even more disappointing, Leeds playing them like they were Bayern Munich. It was just incredible, really. But we'll forget about them, and we beat Fulham in there, drew at Burnley, and then from that second half against Burnley
game was the start of the sort of turnaround in performance.
Bino, Everton 2 weeks before that would have lost to Burnley, so I think we could have seen the difference in that game, that we conceded the early goal and still got something. You move on from that quickly, and then you go Chelsea, Arsenal, Leicester, Sheffield United, Wolves. Okay, we had West Ham in there. We've had games in there, but we've got through them all, and we are where we are. And we've got a couple of games in hand, not far off top four, even not really far off the top of the league. If you're looking at that, we're in a really good place, and we're in the fifth round of the cup. I think this season has gone better than what I expected it to. If you have a look,
I'd agree with that. I mean, I expected a major improvement, but to still be, I wasn't expecting top four this season at all. But to still be a chance of that is great.
We massively overachieved, because I said at the start of the season on something else that if we could just keep on the coattails of the top seven by the time February comes around and the end of January, and we're in that sort of hunt, I'll be pleased. After we're on the coattails of, but being honest, top of the league, because a couple of games in hand, that's where we'll be. So, it's incredibly pleasing. Obviously, Liverpool, not in great form. Tottenham, they drop silly points. Chelsea are really poor. Arsenal are poor. United are really good, but you could also see them dropping a bit, because that's the nature of Man United. Obviously, Man City.
That's the nature of every team. You think Man City may be a side?
No, but they've had a tough run, remember? So they were bottom half of the table in October. So I mean, it hasn't gone more plain sailing for them. I think the only teams that have looked consistent this season to me, probably Leicester. I think for what they are, they've been in and around it all season. Villa, again, for what they're trying to do, they've been consistent. Southampton. So apart from that, everyone else have had moments where they've questioned themselves at some points, but we haven't. So we have. But
we had November, but
yeah, we have. Newcastle and Leeds aside, I don't think there's been any games where I've been dying to tear my hair out. West Ham was tough, but they won 1-0. We could have easily won that 1-0. It was one of them.
That was a really frustrating game, that one. But
it was frustrating because we could have won a 1-0 either, because they weren't exactly brilliant. They were organised, and so were we. It was a case of who gets that lucky bounce, and they was them. And yeah, but Sheffield United, you could say the same about that game. It was very much on the knife edge on 70. It went to for us. It's gone really well this season, and not the cups as well. We got to the quarterfinals of the League Cup where we played a really informed Man U team, one of them, and then obviously we're in the next round of this one. So we've done really well. I think the recruitment this season's been brilliant. It's just a really good sort of feel-good factor at the moment, and obviously pleased with the performance. But I don't think we can say too much about the performance because I don't think that it showed us anything that I kind of didn't expect, other than our levels are much better than Sheffield Wednesday's.
Yeah, well, I think I was actually very nervous going into this game because of the way we played against Rotherham, and I thought it could be a repeat of that. But
I didn't. They had COVID cases, and Rotherham are a lot more well established in terms of what they try and do from week to week than Sheffield Wednesday. So I thought this would be a lot. I thought it'd be a lot smoother than Rotherham, but either way, we got through both of them, and hopefully we can test ourselves against Wickham next.
Well, we'll have to wait and see about that one tonight. But performance-wise, we've had some really good performances, wasn't there? I mean, we're not naming names, James Rodriguez.
Oh, it was men v boys at time we were on the pitch. I think I'm going to say Sigurdsson and Gomez. I thought also they looked really in sort of technical ability. They took the game away from them. I don't think there was a bad performance on the pitch, to be honest. I think people have moaned about Richarlison's sort of effort at times, but he got on the score sheet once, could have been twice. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think he fought his way into that game.
Coleman's crossing did me head in a bit of times, but apart from that.
James Coleman's crossing's been doing my head in for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It's one of them.
For me, also, words and dispatches for Robin Olsen, who every time comes into this Everton team looks calm, assured. That 7 out of 10 league average keeper. He just looks fine every time. I'd be quite disappointed if we don't sign Robin Olsen at some point, because I think at the very least he's a good number 2. If we get a better number 1,
I think we made a good point about this, Paul and I, on the live show last night. If you haven't seen that, by the way, guys, go and check that out. But on that live show, me and Paul said that ever since Olsen made his debut in the Newcastle game, whenever Pickford's come in since, he's raised his game.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Jordan Pickford for months now.
Well, the media have, but we haven't.
Yeah, I don't care what they do. The media's Jermaine Genius, who doesn't have a clue about football. If you listen to
oh God.
But
but the media's only like it's funny because like our fans have actually turned it into the game of bingo now. Which minute are they going to mention the Pickford thing on the chart?
Ridiculous. It's not even in Liverpool games half the time.
Well, they're watching like Spurs versus Burnley or something.
Yeah, it just pops up. Oh, did you know Virgil van Dijk got injured in the derby?
God, that's unbelievable, isn't it? It's like it is.
It's like entertaining at this point.
We are actually turning it into a game of bingo though now. It's like a sweepstake who had 31st minute for the Richarlison tackle on Thiago getting a mention. And
even worse than this, I went from yesterday listening to Jermaine Genius to Steve McManaman about an hour, and I don't quite know how I went through that.
Oh God. That was a fun day for football commentary, that was. But
yeah, I mean, I find the FA Cup quite flat at times, to be honest. It just seems to me that these lower league teams know without the crowd they're not really going to get anything. So the games just go through the motions and bring back the Premier League on Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to see us dominate a game like that, though, because I don't think we have done that since the early weeks of the season.
No, that's a point, actually. I agree with that. I think it's been defensively quite stoic from us since that flurry at the start, and every other game we've been edging it.
We have every single game we've won since November has been won by 1 goal.
That's the way it works. We played a lot of good teams within that as well, who, we've made it difficult for. And you're not going to win some of these teams by being free-flowing, but especially over Christmas where games pile up and you're just trying to get through them with results. So hopefully we play Newcastle next Saturday. I'm not going to say anything, but I fancy that one to be one where we can really have a good go at them.
I hope so. I mean, I'd like to think that we start being a bit showing a bit more going forward, because if we can add that to the defensive display that we've been putting in the past few months, then we could go on a really good run.
I don't think it's too much to expect that against Leeds and Newcastle we can rectify the two previous woeful performances against them and really put them both to the sword quite comfortably.
Yeah, it's crucial that we do that as well. I think,
if we can just get something from the Leicester game, a point, and then beat them too comfortably, that's 7 points. That's quite big in terms of points building. So obviously this is about the FA Cup and we're through to the next round, but as people can tell, I'm really infused by the whole cup situation.
Yeah, the FA Cup, I mean, it's one of them. I've always been a big fan of the FA Cup, but I agree with you this season. Without the fans, it does really take... everyone's used that cliche, the magic of the FA Cup. There's no magic of the FA Cup when there's no fans in the ground.
I think I found myself watching Bundesliga instead of some of the FA Cup matches this weekend, so you can tell how infused I am about...
They got fans back in the ground yet in Germany?
Don't think so. We weren't really paying that much attention to the stands. Strike ball winning again is all I'm saying.
But yeah, it's one of them. The equivalent of like Sky mentioned the Richarlison tackle. Owen has to mention Freiburg.
Yeah, there's an excellent podcast on Freiburg. Everyone should check out right after this one. Really.
Yeah, but there we go. Anyway, we'll go on to a couple of the players before we finish on this segment. We'll obviously James ran the show with his tricks and flicks. I mean, I think for me that the really pleasing one was obviously Gomez got an assist. And he's
after not having an assist in about 3 years, he gets 2 and 2, I think.
Yeah, it's 2 and 2 for him now, and
he should occupy that space on the left-hand side because he seems to find good space there, make good decisions because of the cross against Wolves. So I think if he can exploit that space on the sort of left-hand side of the box, he can cause real damage there because he's done it a couple of times, even before he got the assists.
What annoys me is that I think he used to sort of take up that role a bit when he played for Valencia.
Yeah, he did, yeah. He's just found himself becoming a very safe footballer who doesn't really affect the game, but he has done the last couple, so you've got to give him credit where credit's due. We'll see if we can continue that. I think he will play on Wednesday, I imagine. It's a big game for him. Doucouré definitely comes back in no matter what from then on, but we'll see how he gets on. But if he can affect the game more, there's no reason why he can't play because he's obviously technically quite good footballer, so we need to see more from him. But I think his levels have improved just as everyone else's. Just on a side note, in terms of going forward, the Newcastle game, obviously Alan won't be back for Leicester. Do you think he's got a chance for Newcastle or Leeds?
Who's that, sorry?
Alan.
Oh, Alan. Yeah.
Or Leeds. Not Leicester, but I imagine Newcastle or Leeds. Do you think he's got a chance?
I'm not too sure. I mean, I wouldn't be rushing him back. I mean, he's too crucial a player to risk injuring him again.
Agree, but if he's got a chance, if he's got a chance for Newcastle, but he'd definitely be back for Leeds if he didn't play Newcastle. I'd definitely play him for Leeds because last time against Leeds, he found a lot of space to work into. So we could play for Leeds.
He was excellent against Leeds, and everyone else was rubbish.
Yeah, so I was thinking if we can get him into that one, it'd be really good. He was really good before he got injured as well, Alan. So we'll see how he gets on. Again, Leicester first half before he got his injury, he was unbelievable.
Yeah, it's the way it is, isn't it? But on this game, anyway, we'll just finish up. The entire sort of team performance was very strong, wasn't it? And I think it's one of them. What do you think we can take from this moving forward? Like any sort of tactical tweaks or?
I don't know because I feel it's difficult to judge against such a weak opposition. I mean, I'm not putting Sheffield Wednesday down. Their fans know the plight they're in, but I feel like James, it could be sort of the rebirth of him on the right-hand side maybe because with Newcastle coming up, if we can get that front three firing for that game, I feel really like we could have a lot of fun against them because obviously they know what situation they're in at the moment as well. So maybe with an added emphasis on the front three coming back, maybe with a Wobie, I don't know if he'll be fit for any of the games, maybe them four in tandem, we can cause teams a lot of damage and keep that defensively stoic sort of back four and really start to go on a real good run of winning games comfortably.
Right, I think so, but we'll leave it at that anyway for this game. Anyway, Everton 3, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Let us know your opinions on this game, anything we might have missed there looking back on this game. And
sorry, Sheffield Wednesday, for just putting you down for the past video.
Yeah, I mean,
can't say he's a joke.
Yeah, to be fair, I think we had a nice everyone's in the OV with Dan Fudge. He was very. We had a nice little chat about Dave Shansiri. Oh my god. But yeah, anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Drop us a comment, give a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you next time.